and welcome to the Babe Bulletin podcast, where we talk empowerment, self-love, boudoir, and anything else that makes us feel like a total babe. I am Alicia, a boudoir photographer and body liberation expert, and we are in a new space right now in our studio because we have someone special here with us. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm really, really glad that Morgan is here from Morgan Ashley-Lynn Photography. We are going to be chatting about motherhood, maternity, empowerment, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm so excited to talk about all this. It's so important to me, especially being a mom. So
yes, I love your work. I mean, you kind of photograph all the good stuff, weddings, families, portraits, but I especially love your maternity work. I mean, it's all gorgeous, but I feel like the maternity work you do and the postpartum newborn type sessions as well, that's got to be so empowering to you as a mom, kind of knowing that you've been there. So let's kind of jump back. Your son is 4 years old.
Yep, he's
so
4.
I would love to talk about when you found out that you were pregnant and, okay, you're growing another human being. I mean, what kind of impact did that have on the relationship with your own body?
Okay, so we decided to have a baby during COVID because what else are you gonna do when you're stuck in your apartment?
Fair.
So we were like, well, we're not gonna be traveling anywhere anytime soon. We're not going anywhere, so let's just have a baby. And I think like there's a lot of anxiety at first, just like trying to get pregnant because you're like, oh my gosh, you really want something now. So that can be like mentally taxing. Thankfully we got pregnant pretty fast, like right away. But then once you have that baby inside, you're like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like I'm growing a human. So that was, I think the first time I saw the pregnancy test that was like positive, I was like, oh wait, this is, there's no going back now. And it was a little anxiety inducing at first, but after I saw the baby on the ultrasound, that was also like a surreal moment because you're like, wow, there's something in me. So I think for me, I just needed time to like get used to seeing, like we had to go get some extra ultrasounds and stuff, so it was nice to see him more, and I think that made it feel better because I was pretty anxious during my pregnancy, just because I'm an anxious person to begin with. And I think too, I really tried to like stay active while I was pregnant. We did a lot of walking. I mean, it was COVID, so we were just trying to get outside as much as we could and walk, and I tried to do some like workouts too. I followed a pregnancy workout, things that were safe. I think that was really good for me just to keep my body moving. But as you start to grow, things change.
Yeah, right?
I did not get too many stretch marks, which I was kind of happy about, but I didn't really care either way. I am also kind of like that body liberation, like I'm going to love myself no matter what. And I think it was really empowering to be growing a human. And that's what I really focus about in my work too. Like I want to empower moms when I'm photographing them for maternity because it is such a surreal experience and you should honor that your body can do this. Like it's crazy. Like, you know, the guy participates a little bit, but you're doing a lot more work here. You're growing them, and then there's a little bit more that comes with birth and postpartum. So I think it's really important to honor yourself and the fact that it's incredible that our bodies can do this.
And in such a short amount of time, if you think about it, 9 months, your body goes through so much in less than 1 year. I mean, that is really an incredible feat if you think about it in that way. And yeah, I think keeping in mind that your body is constantly doing something by growing another person. And I feel like too many moms undermine that. Like they don't think about that. Like you're tired today because you just grew a liver. You just grew a liver for someone else. I think you're allowed to be tired.
Yes. I think like that first trimester, I don't think I've slept more in my life. I remember being in our apartment and trying to, like, I would just try to sleep anytime I could. And we had a kid who was above us who would just like run up and down the hallway every time I was like going to take a nap while I was pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh, please, I just need to sleep. But I even didn't give myself credit. Like you're saying, like I also was like, you know, I need to sleep and things like that. But I never thought of it as, oh, I'm growing a liver and I'm growing a brain. And
yes,
I mean, I think definitely when he came out, like after I gave birth and I saw him, I was like, he has little eyebrows, like he has a tongue. Like I made that. Like that's crazy. Like I think you kind of have to take a minute to process and reflect.
Sure. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. So seeing him really almost like I don't know, validated the experience, or at least reminded you that here's all of your hard work that you've done that you didn't recognize.
Yes.
It came to fruition and you're like, oh, I did make all of this. That's incredible.
Yes.
So
yes.
then kind of speaking to postpartum, were there any unexpected emotions or like feelings that came up for you? Okay, now your body has changed again.
Yeah.
And you have a little human to take care of at the same time. I mean, what kind of feelings were coming up for you after that?
I think did have some postpartum anxiety. I think it's like the second day we came home from the hospital, you just can't stop crying for no reason. I mean, it's very common with moms. I even went back to my doctor. I was like, oh, I'm like crying all the time. She's like, that's normal. Like, it's going to be okay. I ended up getting some anxiety medication like a little bit later, like 3 months in, just because I was going back to work and things. But I do think it's a really weird feeling having the baby and then having like emptiness in your stomach. Like, I think that was one of the weirdest changes from going like having a bump to being like, whoa, it's kind of like jello at first. And I think that was something that was hard for me processing that with my body, because it was different. Like it's not as tight like as it used to be. It's something that made me uncomfortable too. Like if like my husband touched my stomach, I was like, ooh, I don't want you to touch my stomach. And so that was something to kind of like be like, wait, no, like that's like my womb, like I grew a baby. That's like something I should love. Like, and I think that shifting that mindset really did help with being more confident in my body.
Yeah. And you've had some time now to kind of look back and reflect. So in the last 4 years, what have you been doing to help with that? Because there might be a brand new mom listening who's like, I feel that exact way about my stomach right now. I don't want anybody to touch it.
Yeah.
What did you do to help shift that mindset that maybe she can try?
Yeah. So I think a lot of women just struggle with this no matter if you have a baby or not.
Period.
I mean, I was like, I was probably like this also before. I think when you're pregnant, you know, everyone touches your stomach and it's such a good, like, oh, the baby, all this. But like, there's no, like, you have the baby and it's like, oh, you got to bounce back. Like, why haven't you like that? And I really tried to follow like accounts on Instagram that were more body positive. I know like the Bird's Papaya is like,
I love her.
So everyone loves her. And
Yes.
so I think like following her and like reading her content, seeing her, we were actually pregnant at the same time.
Oh,
now that I have to
really?
think back about it. So she had her daughter like 3 weeks before I had Miles. And I think that helped because I could really relate to her and I would read her posts and like she had, you know, I saw her like postpartum transformation of like accepting her body. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to accept my body too. So I think it's really about surrounding yourself with supportive people and finding positive things to look at, especially everyone's on social media. Like, don't go down the rabbit hole. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw ads for bounce back. Like, I mean, how did they find me? Like, how did you know I was pregnant? Like, all this stuff. And it's just gross. Like, I was like, I just avoided. I would scroll past it. Just don't even look at it. It doesn't matter how fast you're going to bounce back or this or that. And it's not even bouncing back. There is no backwards to go to.
Yes, there's no
like
back.
You are
only forward.
Yeah, you have now changed forever. Your body's changed. Your hormones have changed. Everything is new and different. So now it's just accepting being a new person. And you have to just go with that. Like, I just kept telling myself, there is no going back. We are new. We are mom now.
Yes.
So it's almost like this new, and I think I'm someone who also found themselves being a mom. Like, I feel like being a mom didn't take over my life. Like, I didn't identify as mom. I'm still me, but I have moved forward into a new, like, chapter of me.
Mm-hmm. I like that. It sounds like almost like an addition to your life rather than a loss of something. Because I know that is something that a lot of moms struggle with, where they kind of lose themselves in motherhood, and not necessarily because they want to, but just because expectations and pressures are put on them to behave a certain way. And all of a sudden, you know, I'll get clients in my studio whose kids are now pretty self-reliant, you know, they're 13, 14, 18, and these moms are like, I don't know who I am anymore, and I have to figure that out. And it's exciting because they get to start, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm sorry that you kind of lost yourself along the way, but how exciting you get to find yourself again. So I'm glad to hear that it feels like you're already in that mindset of like, no, I am still me. I am still a person, and I'm not going to lose myself. And touching back to what you were saying about Instagram and like the burst papaya and everything, it sounds like community was really essential to you in maintaining still a relationship with yourself.
Yes.
I think a lot of moms struggle to find that. So great. I think that's such good advice. Like, you don't have to do this alone, and you certainly not even from the perspective of like keeping another human alive. You don't have to do this alone, but you don't have to be alone struggling with your body either. You can find community and support.
Yes.
And I think one way that some moms do that is by booking newborn photo shoots or maternity photo shoots and things like that, which is why I think the work that maternity photographers do is very, very important. And I shoot maternity boudoir, so it's a little bit different, but it's still all really, no matter whether you're wearing a dress out in a field of wildflowers or very little in my studio, I think there's a huge amount of empowerment that can come to someone either way.
Yes.
So when you're working with maternity clients or postpartum, maybe newborn family sessions where mom just had her baby 3 weeks ago, things like that, how do you, like, what do you talk to your clients about? How do you try to empower them with photography?
Yeah. So I find that I want to really focus on what I want my client to feel in the moment. So I just did a maternity session, and we were out in a field. I mean, right now, April in Wisconsin is not, I wouldn't call it a field. It was a grassy area, but it was still really pretty. It ended up being really pretty, but
it was. I saw them. It was very pretty.
Very pretty. I wish it was May, but here we are. It was really about, I even tell my clients, I was like, I want you to like put your hands in your hair, and I want you to just close your eyes and feel the breeze for a minute. And when it's sunny out, feel the sun on your skin. And I want you to just kind of like, you know, move your hair back and forth and just really get into your own body and really feel, just be present for a minute. Because I know when I was pregnant, I was not present. Like, I was so busy. COVID was going on. I was working. I was still a vet tech at the time, and I wasn't even a photographer yet. So there was just so much that I wasn't present for. And so I think I want to always bring that into my work now, is really how would I want to been captured in the moment, and how I would have wanted to be. Really remembering that part of my life. Even when it came to like newborn photos. I mean, I did have newborn photos. I did do a maternity session, so that was good. It was December, so it was really cold because I had a January baby. And our newborn photos, like the photographer who did my newborn photos, Melissa Winters Photography, I gotta shout her out, because she actually inspired me to like pick up my camera again, because I was like, she's a mom. She has 4 kids. I think she was actually pregnant with her 4th when she did my maternity session or my newborn photos. So I was like, if she can do it, why can't I? And I'd always wanted to be a photographer. I just went a different route for a little bit. And so she kind of inspired me too. I was like, why don't I pick up my camera? And I want to make my clients feel how she always makes me feel too. And so that's something that really inspired me. And that's kind of how I want my clients to feel.
I love that. There's an element of mindfulness there of, like existing in your body, and how does that feel? And the world is so loud and everything is so busy. And then when you're preparing for a baby to come, that just amps up everything. I feel like tenfold. And when is the last time you just sat and felt what it feels like to be in your body? That's not an experience most people do anymore, myself included.
It's hard.
It's really, really hard. And I was just with a friend of mine. She practices therapy, and we did a meditation, and she's like, where are you feeling it? And I'm like, honestly, this is really hard for me because I'm so in my head. She's like, yeah, this comes with practice. So it's great that you're giving those clients time to practice that. Like, what does it feel like? And for some people, this might be the only time that they can experience this.
Right.
So it's really important to remember and then to document at the same time with photography, because I'm
Yes.
sure when they look back at those images, they're going to remember how they felt in that moment.
And I think that's something that's so important is documenting it, because some people will be like, well, I didn't do newborn photos, or I didn't do this. I'm like, you just spent 9 months growing this human. Like, even sometimes people are like, I don't know if I want maternity photos, I just want newborn photos, or I get vice versa or something like that. Like, you should document your body, how you were you are carrying a baby, you are carrying a human being, you just grew someone. We should definitely do a maternity session and celebrate that. I think one of my last maternity clients, she didn't even bring her husband. It was just her. We just did her. Like, her husband's like, this is all you, girl, like, go get it. And it was so empowering, and she felt so empowered, and that's what I want my clients to feel. And then for newborns too, it's like, you just spent 9 months growing this human. You should document them when they're still squishy, because they grow so fast. It's so cliche. I hate saying it. Well, but it's
cliches
so true.
exist because they're true,
But
right?
they're true. It's true. So, yeah. So I think they change so much so fast. Even, I mean, my son was like 8 pounds, 9 ounces when he was born. At his 2-week appointment, he was like almost 11 pounds. He got like huge. It was just, so I was like, I'm so glad we did those newborn photos before he got so, he was like a little Buddha baby. But
Aww, that's so cute.
so I think that's really important. And I think it's hard for moms to even think too if they want to do a newborn session. And just, I know how it is the first time you're going to get dressed. You're going to put, like, I remember putting jeans on for the first time in like 6 months. It's a weird feeling, right? You're like, oh, I don't know how I look. I don't want to, like, do I want to do newborn photos because I just had a baby? And they're all worried about that. And I say still do it. You don't want to be the mom who's not in the pictures.
Yes, 1,000% to that. And you will look back at them, even if in this moment it's outside of your comfort zone and it feels hard and it feels new, and because it is hard.
Yeah.
And it is new.
Yeah.
But when you're 20 years down the line, oh, you're going to be so grateful that you have that. You are going to be so happy that you have those images and that you were in them too. Yes, get the cute little squishy newborn pictures all by themselves, but get in some of them as well, because you're going to want those.
Exactly. I think, and two, if you're worried about what to wear and things like that, I always say, think about dressing yourself in ways that are going to accentuate what you like and maybe are more, I don't want to say like hiding, but especially if you're worried about your newborn bump and things like that, then wear a flowy dress, something that you don't have to wear. Don't wear something tight. Like, be comfortable in what you're going to wear.
Yeah, I think baby steps are so important, especially anytime our body has changed.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect someone to throw on a bodycon dress right out of the gate. It's like, no, why? That's too far outside of a comfort zone that could actually be far more detrimental than beneficial. So baby steps.
Baby steps.
And I promise you, nobody is judging you if you got spit up on your clothes or if, like, I promise your photographer is here to fully support you and only wants the best for you. Like, wear what makes you feel comfortable. I think that's really important.
I think too, it's just being in the moment. So if I come to your house for a newborn session, I love in-home newborn sessions. I think you should be documented in your own home, and like, it's really documenting. So I will take pictures while they're changing the baby sometimes, because it's really cute to see them, you know, squeezing on their little clothes, and maybe mom's breastfeeding, and like, if you want to picture that, and dad's feeding a bottle, I'm going to take a picture of that. Like, it doesn't really matter what you're wearing in the end to me.
Right, because you're not gonna,
you're gonna look back at these and probably not even care about what you were wearing, because you're just gonna like see the moment in real time. Just, it's there forever.
That's amazing. What advice would you give to any mom who's out there right now? Maybe they just had a baby, or they're nearing the end of their pregnancy and they are kind of struggling to be kind to their body. Do you have any advice for them?
I would say, remember what's going on in your body. I think too, sometimes I read this book, I think it was like Becoming Mama. My friend sent it to me, and it was a little woo. I'm not gonna lie, but I liked it. It's like they had like the pictures of the baby growing every week in there, and it really showed. I mean, there's so much in the beginning. You might not. I know a first time mom, like, I didn't really get a bump even until I was like 7 months, 8 months pregnant. Like, where you're like, oh, you actually look pregnant now, right? Like, before I just looked like I ate a bunch of burritos. So like, I always say, like, I would like look at that and be like, wow, like there's so much happening in those, especially in those last few weeks. Baby grows really fast, like, because they're all about getting beefy on their bones, like, and just trying to be big to.
They got to be ready.
You gotta be
come
ready
out.
to be in the world, right? And so I think you have to remind yourself, like, wait, I'm like growing human. They're just getting ready to come out. And I think too, it's very, everything is changing. So you can't get caught up on, oh my gosh, this is way different, or this is way, like, everything is different now. And like I was saying before, you just kind of have to accept it. There is no going back. There's only going forward. So you can't look at you pregnant and then look at, I mean, I looked at pictures when I was in college. I was like, well, yeah, I was playing volleyball and I was like an athlete and I was like working out like every day.
Different period of your life.
Different period of my life. Am I going to go play volleyball pregnant? No. Am I going to be lifting a ton of heavy weights? No. So like, we're not going to do that. So like, that is just a chapter in my life that is closed and it's time to move forward. I think that's something that you just have to keep telling yourself. We're new. It's new. Every day is new. Especially after that baby comes. You just gotta go every day at a time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's really good advice. And I hope that helps someone who is maybe listening to this and feeling a little bit isolated, or sometimes I feel like with the mothers that I talk to, they feel very isolated, even though, guess what? Every mom is feeling the exact same way.
Yes.
You certainly are not alone in these feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I know postpartum is a very real thing. So if that's something you're struggling with, reach out to Mom's Mental Health Initiative. They're really fantastic. I would go and get support from them and find that community that we were talking about.
Community.
That's really important. I'm going to ask you the question that I like to ask all of my guests at the end, which is, what is your favorite form of self-care?
Oh.
I know, right? It's a big question.
Okay. I think something that I recently started doing is going to hot yoga.
Yeah?
Yeah. It is like, I've been routine about it. I go like 3 times a week. And I think making the time to get on your mat and be there are days that I do not want to go. And every time I go, my like instructor is like, be so grateful that you made it to the mat today. I was like, oh yes, I did. You know, I did make it. And that's a form of community. I go with one of my mom friends that we go to yoga every Thursday, and we get to talk about our kids being kids and all those other things. So I think that was a huge thing for me, is again, I think just staying in your body. How can I be in my body? And yoga, you have to be present in your body.
Sure. I love that. I did hot bar one time and I thought it was really fun.
It's like, I cannot do bar.
And I can't do yoga.
I mean, I had not been to a yoga class in years, and I went with my mom friend. Was like, you have to come, and I went with her, and then I ended up signing up for this. I go to Lifetime now, so it was the whole thing, and I was like so glad that she made me go. And I went from being not able to do anything really. I was like, wait, what are we doing in class? Watching like everyone else, and now I feel like I'm getting the hang of it.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I think finding movement that you enjoy, that's always been something that I have talked about on this podcast and social media. Finding movement that you enjoy is, to me, one of the biggest elements of like self-care, because it's good for your body, it's good for your brain. And when we use exercise as something we enjoy rather than punishment, it just opens up the door to all of this like body empowerment. So it's really important to find the movement that you actually like, that makes you feel good, that creates a sense of community, things like that.
Yes.
So, love to hear it. Hot yoga, folks.
Hot yoga.
Go check it out. Well, Morgan, thank you so much for being here. Can you let the people know where to find you?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at Morgan Ashley-Lynn Photography. My website's morganashleylynn.com. And yeah, that's kind of my main places to find me. I have Facebook too, but let's be real, I'm on Instagram. Maybe I'm a millennial. I don't know.
I also think that's a very photographer answer to be like,
very, like, I just go on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, I hope people will follow you. Thank you again so much for being here. If you want to support the podcast, you can share this episode with maybe a mom friend that you know. Rate us, review us. It really helps us move up the charts and get more ear holes on this bad boy so that we can spread the self-love around. And if you want to learn anything about Bucks and Boudoir, you can visit www.bucksandboudoir.com, and I'm pretty much everywhere on social. other than X. So you can find me pretty much anywhere. As we finish this episode, I like to do something called Babe of the Week, where I shout someone out who I think is out in the world doing babely, cool, awesome things and making the world maybe a little bit better. And since this is our Mother's Day episode, I'm just gonna shout out moms in general, but I want to shout out my mom, Cindy Zuberbeer. You want to shout out your mom?
Yeah, my mom's Chris Johnson. So yeah.
Woohoo! Shout out to all the moms out there. It is a very difficult job. Probably the hardest that's maybe out there. I feel like keeping other people alive is extremely difficult, especially when they're small and they don't really have any sense of survival.
Yes. That is it. They are little, just like trying to kill themselves all the time.
Everything in the mouth. Everything in the mouth. So shout out to the moms out there. Have a wonderful, happy, beautiful Mother's Day. Remember to be kind to your bodies, and we will see you all again in the next episode. Bye.